James South residents, as you come closer to May 24th, where you'll be asked to make that choice as who to represent you in Parliament, remember we are part of a larger team that's offering you some peep into the future. For us in Democratic Labour Party team, it's not just the next 5 years, but really we've rolled out a set of plans that are designed to take this country forward in the next 50 years. We know that there are many issues that have confronted each and every one of us over the last 10 years or so, and the future seems a lot brighter than the past may have been. Now that we've leveled things out a bit in the economy, we're now focused a lot more on moving us forward as the economy and society. In that respect, I invite you to take a look at our manifesto and see what we're offering. For the tourism sector, we will continue to diversify that sector, link it with agriculture, link it further with small business development, so at the end of the day, the benefits of a vibrant and diversified tourism sector is shared by all and sundry, including many here in St. James South. For the renewable energy sector, we've long said you cannot depend on fossil fuel. And this government over the last decade have rolled out some very innovative plans and an enabling environment for the renewable energy sector. But we haven't stopped there. So when you look at our manifesto and see the suite of incentives that we're offering further for the renewable energy sector, is because we believe that this is part of the future. We want to see more very young people involved in designing systems that help bring that level of innovation for the renewable energy sector as well. As you look certainly at the area of the cultural sector, for example, we as a government recognize and have put measures in place thus far to develop a cultural industry sector in Barbados. We've done it through a legislative framework and a suite of incentives, but we have to do more. We have to stimulate those minds at a very early age. We have to provide the kind of overarching environment through, for example, a new headquarters at NIFCA, a permanent place in our economy for the NIFCA and all the performing arts and music studios that we're expanding, developing, the marketing opportunities that are being rolled out. At the end of the day, we recognize that there's a cultural industry that has tremendous potential to make a meaningful contribution to this economy, and more importantly, to encourage and allow a lot of our talented young people in particular to achieve their full potential and recognize the entrepreneurship in cultural industries going forward. We also talk about the digital Barbados. Everything now cannot be about brick and mortars, and we've come a long way along the bridge digital divide, but there's much more that we can do. We want to ensure that more government departments, nearly all of them, go online, that people can now interact with them online, make applications, get decisions, pay fees, so that the days of standing along lines and government departments to get things done become something of the past. We need to become much more of an e-commerce society. We also recognize at the back end that there's a lot of talent that still abounds in our society to develop the right kind of programs and applications that then can be sold around the world. So we really realize as a government, as we look towards the next 50 years, it is that level of technology and the use of it in a wise manner that is going to help to transform this economy and society as well. And therein we speak to the suite of incentives to grow it out as well. We also recognize, as I have done over the years, many of my constituents in St. James South, the level of entrepreneurship or potential entrepreneurs that abide in our midst. And yes, on one hand, they're the vendors, and we said, look, enough is enough. The hassles being extended to vendors has to come to a screeching halt. Of course, as we seek to remove the licensing regime for vending, we must do so to ensure that in a manner that ensures that there's no disruption to the smooth function of society on the whole. There's still respect for law and order, and to avoid all the congestion and such as well. But we also recognize that in the area of small business and innovation, that we have, of course, to work closely with the credit unions. They have been at the bedrock of our economy in many respects. And that is why we have pledged to restore the allowance of those who invest in the credit union movement and the instruments that they offer, the shares they're in. We had to remove it a few years ago, but we said, look, This sector really walked with us through difficult times. Some sacrifices were called upon to bear. Now that we started to turn things around, we are satisfied that we can gradually restore that level of allowance that in a manner that will do no harm to the society. We've also said, look, we need to have a credit union bank in Barbados. And that is why we commit to you, the residents of St. James South and Barbados on the whole, to give full support to and provide the assistance necessary for the creation of a credit union owned bank in Barbados. And of course, there are all the financing mechanisms necessary for the small, medium, and enterprise sector in Barbados. In terms of the economy on the whole, that's everybody's concern. We have not been reckless in managing the economy. We've had to tighten our belts a bit because we believe that that was the right thing to do to stop the slide. Now that's begun to stabilize and we look towards the future, we engage our minds around matters such as allowances for healthcare, mortgage interest and such like that will help once again to stimulate the economy, not in a reckless manner. We're not going to go and make grand promises that we know cannot be delivered and set us back to where we were a few years ago. We've come this far now not to turn back. So therefore issues regarding VAT and level of taxation has also been frontally addressed, because we realize that there has to be an ease now that the economy on the whole has started to come together around here. In terms of education, that's a concern all of us in St. James South. Whether we have children of our own, nieces and nephews, whatever. Barbados has been built upon a sound education system, and we are not prepared to compromise that. In the last few years, we've rolled out more nursery schools, it's provided more sixth form school opportunities. We've had to make some adjustments to financial contributions to the University of the West Indies. But all of these things are designed to ensure we safeguard the education system of Barbados and be able to share that with the rest of the world as well. Healthcare, that's there to each one of us. With regards to your political affiliation, your socioeconomic circumstance, you want to know you have access to a good healthcare system. And the Democratic Labour Party team has never and will never compromise on that. But it's an expensive matter to address. But we focus a lot on preventative aspect of healthcare. That's why we've talked in a manifesto about a $5,000 per year allowance for those who invest in private health insurance policies. We've also looked at a national health insurance levy as a way of ensuring that there's the cash flow needed to provide a range of goods and services at optimal levels in our healthcare system, including the Queen Elizabeth Hospital and our polyclinics on the whole. So as we go through our manifesto, you ought to realize that what we're offering here, what we're working with here, is a set of programs and incentives that are very realistic, that are designed with you in mind, because we've listened to you. We have a history of not being reckless in the management affairs of this economy. And while the manifesto may not offer everything to everyone, rest assured it is what has been deeply considered far and wide as the best suite of options available to take this economy forward, upward and onward. So ladies and gentlemen, my residents of St. James South, I urge you, let us come together on May the 24th and continue this journey for improvement in Barbados, to build a far more resilient economy and society. We've all had to make some sacrifices over the last few years. I know it has not been easy for all of us, but rest assured, in the next 50 years will be brighter because of what we've had to do in the recent past and the suite of programs and policies that we've enunciated in this little document here called the Democratic Labour Party Manifesto, 50 years and onwards. Thank you very much.